Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Pokemon Pokemon FireRed Nuzlock Let's Play. Now, you may be noticing that there is a strange absence of music in the background. Now that's because the OBS editor I use to record these sessions decided my mic was not going to be good enough to record video and audio for. So it didn't catch my microphone or the audio sounds that were coming through the headphone set. Instead, it tried to record what was going through the laptop's audio and output and input places. Which means there's no sound on this episode. So I am sorry, that's probably why there's a delay in this video. I was not able to get things working properly for me. Alright, now, I believe I was trying to get Fly at this point in time, so I could go and get the bike and actually go on Bicycling Road. However, I had the idea after I got the bike, got Fly, listened to the guy yammer on about his Rapidash, I decided I was going to go the other way. Probably because it would have been easier on Lily over the rest of my Pokemon overall, because then I wouldn't have to deal with a bunch of poison types, which I would have to deal with at Koga's gym anyway. Now, I decided to do Koga's gym first at this point because I didn't want to have to face Sabrina this early. I like pushing her back as far as possible. Mostly because psychic types have always been scary to have to fight for me. It's imprinted into those of us who played Generation 1 because everything that we fought, psychic-wise, could almost one-hit just about anything. Like, you had to have a ghost type in your group to be able to fight them. Which sounds weird, and yeah, it is weird. That and bug type were strong against them, but there were no real good bug type moves in Generation 1. Now, here I instantly realized I had to pull Lily out and switch her out for something else because Grass and Fire, as I proved at Erica's gym, do not mix. Now, today I actually went over to GameStop and I got my copy of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Now, this is a game I want to do a Let's Play for. I will be unable to do so until probably Thursday, I believe. Which is a shame because I have 2 days off from work coming up. Not starting tomorrow, but the next day, Wednesday, and then going into Thursday. So I could use Thursday all day to record just Assassin's Creed Odyssey. But I'd rather try and not start off on the wrong foot like I kind of did with this Pokemon Nuzlock. I wasn't doing too bad, really, at first. But things came up, family issues, stuff like that. Nothing I could control, but it kept me from having good recording conditions to be able to do these things. I would like to take this time, though, to talk a little bit about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee coming up. Now, I know a few people have been having problems with the idea behind Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Namely, the biggest one, I believe, is that they took out the wild battling system. I mean, it was introduced that legendary Pokemon would have a battle system where you had to fight them first, defeat them, and then you would have a chance to catch the legendary Pokemon. Why they couldn't do that with every Pokemon, I don't know, because in the anime, if you watch that, the Pokemon were always knocked out, and then they had the Pokeball thrown at them. It was never, they weaken it and then throw the ball. It was almost always they KO the Pokemon and then throw the ball. Which, I would have liked that system if they had that in Go. Instead, they opted for the just simple, you catch them in wild and you only battle trainer Pokemon. This is probably to help integrate Pokemon Go players into the actual Pokemon gaming community. I don't really consider Pokemon Go necessarily a Pokemon game, to be exact. It's based off Pokemon, yes. It shares a title with Pokemon, yes. It's just the problem is it's missing all the key concepts. It's like when I was talking with my cousin about Assassin's Creed 4. I told him it's an excellent pirate game. Overall, a great game. But if you look at it at the standpoint of an Assassin's Creed game, it just falls short of being an Assassin's Creed game. You spend too much time swashbuckling, being a pirate, that sort of thing. That doesn't really feel like you're an assassin. Sure, it's connected to the story of the rest of the Assassin's Creed universe. And I would have thought it would have made a great side title to Assassin's Creed going, this is in the world of Assassin's Creed. This is part of the canon. But keep it separate from the main storyline. I mean, I guess Assassin's Creed 4 may have been to introduce, really, the character that it would be following after that in the Syndicate, maybe. I don't know if they're the same person or not. The recruit and the saboteur they essentially have in place inside of Abstergo Gaming. But that's just all speculation on my part. It doesn't even matter because in Origins, you switch to being some chick who works for Abstergo, who actually created the mobile Animus, and did a lot of research into this, and she actually goes inside and becomes Bayek, and attempts to become his wife at one point. And it follows her story. But anyway, it's a matter of you're not really an assassin in 4 Black Flags. You are just being a pirate. That is the biggest issue with it because, I mean, you're playing an Assassin's Creed game. Assassins is in the title. You're supposed to be part of the Order of Assassins protecting the world from the Templars. But you're not doing any of that. You're not even fighting the Templars. You're helping them build a video game, air quotes, based off of the memories of some dead guy that they're really trying to use his memories to take over the world. But it just doesn't feel like it has any real coherence with the rest of the Assassin's Creed line. Now, if they wanted to make a spin-off from Assassin's Creed called Abstergo Industries or Abstergo Arts or something, where it follows these more non-Assassins based storylines, great, perfect, it would work for that. It just doesn't feel like an Assassin's Creed game because you don't really do much gameplay as an actual assassin. But anyway, back to the matter at hand. Gloom evolved into Vileplume, my good old Lily. Now, I went ahead and evolved her. I thought about keeping Moonlight for her, but I mean, half her attacks heal her. So I figured there wasn't much use in giving her another healing move that just took up a slot, and Stun Spore would continue to prove to be much more useful over time for capturing Pokemon. Which is fundamentally different from how Pokemon Go was doing this. Pokemon Go is really just throwing the Pokeballs, taking out a lot of this strategy that there was to capturing Pokemon. You had to be careful not to knock them out. You had to carefully study how much damage some of these attacks did. You had to be prepared to compensate for things like crits and, well, if this attack is doing that much damage, and that's from a group of X Pokemon all the same, do I have to worry about whether this Pokemon's natural stat value is higher or lower in that defensive stat I'm using to attack him with? I mean, there was a lot to it. But I'm going to miss that. I mean, one of the things I actually miss about, I'm not going to say miss, like it's done and gone with. I mean, I'm pretty sure it will be coming back. Is that like there was an elegance to the capture and battle with the Pokemon still being up. I mean, there was a lot more strategy to it. I mean, it took up attack moves, so I guess in a way switching to this capture method does free us of having to have to worry about those moves. Like, maybe if they switch to the mixed system I mentioned earlier, where you battle them first, and then once they're KO'd, then it goes to a capture screen, like it does with the legendary Pokemon. Now, I think it would make sense with that. You know, you battle the Pokemon, you KO it, then it switches to throwing the Pokeball. I mean, it would get rid of like as much usefulness with moves like False Swipe, Hold Back, that sort of thing. So those kind of moves would kind of fall out of the need. You wouldn't have to worry about using up your attack move slots for capture moves, which is essentially what I mainly use Stun Spore for, because, I mean, at least in game, because I heavily use it for capturing, but when I'm battling, I'm more worried about how much damage I'm doing, how much I'm healing my Pokemon for. Sure, Stun Spore helps in some battle scenarios against scarier targets, but its overall use does not get seen that much outside of capture, helping me capture Pokemon. Like, I use it here on this Snorlax. Now, this battle could go very wrong, because Snorlax is a powerful Pokemon. It has a headbutt, which is like base 70 damage. It's got decent attack, good defenses, and of course is one of the fatter HP tubs. Of course, it loses off to Blissey and Chansey. I was kind of happy with that luck because it used its rest really early and popped that berry, which it ate to heal it or to wake back up, but the rest did not actually heal it from its confusion, which is very nice. Because I wanted all the help I could get against this Snorlax. It hit itself a couple times in a row, if I remember, right, in its confusion. Before it got off trying to use a snore, which didn't work. Yeah, so I decided, okay, it's in the red, I'm not going to get a better chance than this. Decided to just chuck a ball at it. And this is where I said A plus B plus down. Which, for those of you who might not get that reference, that was an old cheat code in Red, Blue, Yellow that was supposed to increase the odds of capturing a Pokemon if you hit it at the right time. It was supposed to raise it by like one ball stage, essentially. Or the equivalent of, I don't think it really made like Ultra Balls as good as Master Balls or anything, even though Master Balls are the ball type just below that, essentially. But it would raise it by like whatever step up would have been for an Ultra Ball. There was another ball after it before the Master Ball. But, I don't think I ever got it right, and it may never have worked, but it was something to do with the fingers and something to focus on when you were worried that the Pokemon was going to break out. Now, I went ahead and named Snorlax Buddha for its Buddha belly. A real hard time. I was really debating whether I was going to actually keep Buddha as a Pokemon in the party, or if I would be, or if I would not be using Snorlax and just putting it away in the box. I think I essentially decided to keep Snorlax with me, but not battle with him, just in case I decide to use him later. Which is something because I got all these Pokemon that I'm carrying with me that I'm not really using. Like, I got Tom for pickup, but I'm not really using Tom. And then I got the Snorlax, which is level 30 when I caught it. So it's about on par with my team almost. But I push it back and don't really use it. But my plan was that I was probably going to use I was probably going to get an electrical type as my next Pokemon. So my idea was I'd go down to the Safari Zone, see what I could get there, battle Koga, and when I beat Koga, I would get Surf. And when I got Surf, then I could go over to the power plant. And at the power plant, I would be able to get a electric type Pokemon. And yeah, I decided to go back and get the town map there. But get an electric Pokemon that I might actually want to use in the game. Now, I have yet to get an electrical Pokemon I really want to use in the party yet, but I kind of need that electric type to be able to fight Lorelei of the Elite Four. Because if I'm not prepared to fight her, she can actually really easily wipe out my team. Her combination of ice and water. Water would beat Growlithe and cancel out its super effective fire type attacks on her ice types. Vileplume, while being strong against the water part of it, would be weak against the ice type parts of Lorelei's Pokemon. Pidgeotto would be the same and be weak against the ice type attacks as well, with no clear advantages. Wartortle, on the other hand, would be able to resist their attacks, but on the other hand, they would also be able to resist his attacks, and relying solely on him taking damage and being able to out-tank and take out all 6 of her Pokemon. I'd rather just be able to have a Pokemon that can fight back properly. So what I was really hoping for is that I'd be able to sorry, it looks like I just stopped and stood there for a while. Not really sure why. I was worried the video froze while I was trying to record this. But anyway, my hope was I could get a Magnemite or a Magnemite or Magneton, which are both good electric types, and it also gives me a steel type, which has a pretty good resistance. There, I expected that Electro to self-destruct in my face. It did not. Because, you know, it takes only one good self-destruct to wipe out just about any Pokemon. And, let's see, Electabuzz might be good if I can get one. They already had the Voltorb, so I don't have to worry about that. But one of my fears is I might wind up with a Pikachu. Now, I know there are people out there who like Pikachu. I can barely stand Pikachu. Its stats aren't all that great. And, like, sure, the main character of the anime has one, but he was really not that great of a trainer up until maybe about X and Y. Then he became a fairly competent trainer from what I hear. Anytime I had seen him before that, however, he never really seemed to learn his lessons or anything. I considered his victories on a part to main character complex. That he won simply because he was the main character. But at least he's actually winning more of his gym badges now, instead of just essentially being handed the badge. For example, way back in Generation 1, the Kanto region, when Ash actually started his journey. And I don't mean the remake movies, of course. The Pokemon I Choose You movie, which is supposed to be kind of like a remastered journey for Ash in a shorter time span for retelling. Ash kinda essentially cheated his way to beating Brock. Like, the sprinkler system happened to go off, and despite the fact that Onix is a ground steel type, Pikachu's Thunderbolt works on Onix because it is wet. I guess they just could not come up with a good enough way for Ash to beat Brock. However, I did find it admirable that he refused to take Misty's Water-type Pokemon when she offered them to him to fight Brock, saying he wanted to use his own Pokemon, beat Brock with his own power. Now that I can find admirable. But Ash still tried to beat Brock with a Pikachu. I mean, I did it once. When I was a kid, I beat Brock with just Pikachu and using Quick Attack. That's because I used Double Team a lot. And I overleveled that Pikachu quite a bit for that gym. That was back in the days when I just trained one Pokemon overall for the entirety of the playthrough, never really resorting to another Pokemon. And yeah, the only female moth name I could come up with at the moment was Mothra. Alright, my only real goal for this episode was really to level up and evolve Pidgeotto into Pidgeot, Wartortle into Blastoise. And at level 44, I was planning on evolving Growlithe after he learned Flamethrower. Because as it should work, at level 44, as a Growlithe, he learns Flamethrower. He'd also learn Agility between here and there. Not sure if I'm not sure if I'm going to actually use or keep Agility yet. But then, anyway, if he evolved into an Arcanine at level 47, he should learn Extreme Speed, which will be by far his best attack. It's like the priority move, Quick Attack, but with priority. So it is the absolutely fastest attack, I believe. Love my cat, but she just likes to knock my stuff all over the place. Run across my laptop. Anyway, then with Ash's second badge, he got the Cascade badge. Of course, as we all know, that's supposed to be Misty, but Misty's been traveling with him. But as it reveals, Misty's not exactly the leader of the gym. Well, she sort of is, but sort of isn't. She is one of 4 sisters who runs that gym, which is also an aquarium. Now, her sisters aren't any good at battling, so they hardly ever do any of the battling, and they consider Misty the ugly sister of the group. And Ash was just going to be given a Cascade badge by Misty's sisters just for showing up, essentially. And Ash was actually going to take it. Misty, however, stepped in and said that she would fight Ash in her sister's places, and he would have to earn his Cascade badge. So the battle commences, and it gets interrupted by Team Rocket. Misty happens to be winning because Pikachu refuses to fight Misty because she is a friend. Well, doesn't want to fight her in a serious battle. So Team Rocket shows up, starts stealing all the water Pokemon, trying to vacuum everything up into a giant industrial strength vacuum cleaner, essentially. Ends up taking the Misty's sister's Seal, which is their only Pokemon that they have left at the moment after battling all these other trainers, and it has no combat experience. Ash and Misty team up to save Seal. And then, instead of letting the battle continue between Ash and Misty when they defeat Team Rocket, they say saving Seal from Team Rocket was good enough and give Ash the badge anyway, despite Misty's complaints. The third badge, Lieutenant Surge, that's actually one of the few badges Ash actually earned. Now, his first bout with Lieutenant Surge, Pikachu lost outright to Lieutenant Surge's Raichu. Not hard to see why. However, after a pep talk, Taka trying to evolve Pikachu, Ash was given a Thunderstone by the Nurse Joy of Vermilion City. Pikachu refused to evolve. Ash said he would agree with what Pikachu wanted, did not evolve Pikachu, and they went and re-challenged Surge, beating Raichu, this time using Pikachu's speed to defeat Raichu's overwhelming power. The fourth gym badge, Ash dresses up like a girl, sneaks into the fourth gym leader's gym, challenges her to a battle, nearly burns the place down, helps them put out the fire, and for putting out the fire, he gets given the rainbow badge. I believe next he fought Sabrina, and he lost outright against her Psychic-type Pokemon because they are so overwhelmingly powerful. And the only Pokemon she used was Kadabra. And so Ash went to go get a ghost Pokemon to try and help him fight the Psychic types. He managed to get a Haunter to follow him. Not catch this Haunter, but it just hang around when it felt like it, harassing Ash and company. Long story short, Haunter vanished when Ash first went to challenge Sabrina, and Sabrina turned Misty and Brock into dolls. So he lost his second match against Sabrina. Third match, he returns. Haunter this time manages to stick around long enough, but instead of battling Sabrina and Kadabra, it made them laugh by making funny faces. Making them laugh so hard that they were unable to continue the fight. Therefore, Ash was declared the winner. He made the gym leader laugh. That's how he got a badge. Next was I think he might have fought Koga next, and he actually beat Koga of his own strength in a direct fight. Blaine's was a direct fight, even though it was hard to get Charizard to actually participate in the fight. It decided to step in to fight Magmar. And won. Then against Giovanni's gym. This is Ash's probably biggest disappointing win for a badge. He had to fight Team Rocket. And I'm not talking about like actual Rocket members, but Jesse and James. They used some of Giovanni's Pokemon, cheated, and set up a stage that shocked a player every time their Pokemon got hit or hurt for the same significant equivalent amount of damage. So Ash managed to beat them because they're Jesse and James. He did not really have all that much difficulty. Even though Blue stated that this was one of the most difficult gyms he ever fought in, he didn't have to fight Jesse and James. He instead fought Giovanni and Giovanni's Mewtwo. Now, yes, Giovanni had actual Mewtwo as an actual Pokemon at this point, and Blue was his testing opponent. Blue lost little to no contest. Who only arrived there a few minutes after Blue lost. So essentially, Ash lucked out, had to fight someone incredibly much inferior compared to the gym leader in order to earn his badge. And he only got that badge because the podium that Jesse and James were standing on exploded, leaving in it the rubble, the gym badge. So Ash got about half his gym badges by actually battling, and the other half just because people felt sorry for him or something. Or he, by some very, very good luck, came by getting the badge. However, it always annoyed me that Ash was the type of trainer that even if just in the last episode saw a Pokemon, he'd open up his Pokedex and tell him, "Who's that Pokemon?" Again, I get it. The show was marketed towards kids, but even as a kid, I was like, "What's this?" He's got the attention span of a goldfish. And there we go. Flutter has now evolved into a Pidgeot. A bird Pokemon known for its speed. Which left it to where I just had to evolve Tank. Which should not be all that difficult, because I believe I was fairly close at this point. Yeah, I was about halfway there, so pretty dang close. And I've been trying to keep as little just straight out wild battle grinding out of this Nuzlock as possible. And just battling trainers, gym leaders, focusing on getting stuff done. Not just running around grinding and spending a bunch of time talking about who knows what. No, I had some interesting stories, I believe, when I recorded this. But those were all spur of the moment, and now at this point I cannot remember what all I talked about. So I've been going on about random things. I am sorry. Most of it's like a third of this has been me hating on Ash. A third of it has been me talking about Assassin's Creed. A third of this has been me talking about Pokemon Let's Go. But speaking of Let's Go again, one thing I wanted to talk about was the Pokemon Company brought in some actual players who play Pokemon and brought them in to test and essentially put out little mini Let's Play episodes of the first little bit of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Now, honestly, I would have loved to do that. And I would love to do a Let's Play for Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Now, Nuzlocking may be a bit of a problem in it. That's my biggest worry. Because I actually like Nuzlocks. They're fun, they're challenging. But if it's just me throwing balls constantly, like maybe I can do that on my own, but I don't know how that's going to be for people to watch. Me with my poor aim just trying to huck Pokeballs at things. I might have to go through the whole game with just an Eevee. I mean, I got both versions, not because I like Pikachu, but just because I generally get both versions of all the games. But I am still very excited because it comes out next month on the 16th. Yeah, I remember that paralysis was pretty bad, and that Pidgeotto was annoying. It would not give up. But yeah, for me to be able to... So I've been looking into getting a Switch with a capture card. I'd have to get that before the 16th. For the Let's Play to be relevant. I mean, I'd play it anyway, like I did with FireRed, but we have to admit FireRed came out some time ago, and it's not the most searched for thing, which is probably why I don't get a whole lot of views into this, would be my guess. Which I don't really care. I've enjoyed doing this, but I'm not going to get many views playing just classic games like this that probably aren't searched for all that often. I need to fall into a little more of the popular mainstream, get people to notice my channel by playing those games that are just coming out that people want to see, are looking for, and then switching over to these classics and then watching because they enjoy me. I mean, that's kind of why I joined YouTube to do this, because I wanted to share these things, play these games, talk with people like this, and just share my love of the games I play and all that. Like Pokemon. I've loved Pokemon. I've been playing it since it came out. It was like the first game I ever got. And it's been very special to me for a long time. And this is me sharing Pokemon and my feelings for it with the rest of the gaming community and people on YouTube. I want them to see Pokemon through my eyes, essentially. Get them to understand my wonder, my love for the game. I've seen Pokemon through many, many years. And Pokemon's been by my side for a long time. I played with a lot of my friends. And I just want to share it with the rest of the world. I mean, I know Pokemon has a big name for itself already. It doesn't really need my endorsement or anything. It's already been established. It's set up. But I mean, I care about the game. I want to see it do well. I want to see it succeed. Like with Let's Go. I don't know if Let's Go is really going to be a good game or not. I mean, the Pokemon Company, Game Freak, and all that, they have not really put out a bad enough game for me to doubt them. And here's Tank evolving. Finally getting those commendations up and being promoted to something with cannons. Now, I thought about ending the video there because it was getting pretty late for me. I remember I was like half asleep. And I really, really just wanted to finish this up. But I decided I was going to make it to the end of this route. That would be a good place to stop. And there I was comparing, the stats of my Pokemon. Is it cutting out a little bit on the right side of the screen? For some unknown reason. Has it always been like that? I mean, yeah, I go through my videos and I edit them and everything. But I don't make a whole lot of cuts to it. I don't do a whole lot of tinkering with it, but I mean, for most of what I saw, I don't know, maybe I was seeing things, but it looked like the numbers on that were cut off. But I was making a big deal there because my Blastoise is faster than my Pidgeot. And I was trying to figure out, is it just because my Blastoise is incredibly fast? Or is it because my Pidgeot is incredibly slow? And I didn't know which was worse. Having a Blastoise with that many stat points into its speed, or a Pidgeot that was that slow. Either way, I did not like the sounds of it. But, yeah. I was getting pretty quiet, too, I think, by the end of this, if I remember correctly. Like, I've been doing this for a while. I need to rest some. I need to okay. But anyway, uh I wanted to just get to the end of that route and call it a night. I was getting pretty tired. And I had to work first thing the next morning. Be up at 8:30, start getting ready for work. I think it was getting close to about 12:50, 1:02 or something. Somewhere between there. I was kind of in and out. It's like just a few more minutes. Just need to get to the end of this route, clear it up. So you scorch all these birds into dinner, and we're done. I think there was like this guy and then the next guy, and that was it. Of course, with these coughing and stuff, I was like, incredibly worried they were going to self-destruct on me. But I decided to keep Lily out there. Even though our attacks weren't doing a whole lot. Because it's not very effective. Both poison because of the same typing, and grass because poison resists it. I was just hoping to get things to work. And I know I don't have a whole lot of time left as I'm nearing the end of the video. So I'm trying to think of, okay, now what can I talk about that won't take up a whole lot of time? But, yeah, I want to try Pokemon Let's Go and Pikachu Let's Go. I want to give them the chance. Because the Pokemon Company has not done too bad by me. Like, I know I keep saying, well, Pokemon Ranger wasn't really my kind of game, and it wasn't. That's why I didn't really get into it. Like, I played it, it was okay. I did prefer the old-fashioned catch, train, battle type of thing. Yep, this is the last trainer here. Yeah, and I remember I got worried with the episode because I came really close to losing Tank there for a little bit to a wild Pidgeot because of the paralysis, the confusion. I think it was confused too. I don't remember from what exactly, but I remember it came pretty close. Yeah, the last couple numbers there on the right are cut off. It's not a lot, but it's something. Now it's just bothering me that the right end is missing a little. I'm trying to figure out, is there some way for me to extend that or something, fix it? Anyway, yeah, I'm all excited though, because Odyssey, I got the gold steelbook edition, and that came out today at 9 o'clock at GameStop's for us. There was a 9 o'clock release for them, even though it's the first. Technical release date is the second for them. I like my GameStop. They're very nice about everything, and they make sure to take care of us. Very personal people there. I know they take care of me plenty. Of course, I'm there a lot. I probably spend more. But anyway, that was it. Thanks you for viewing. I'm again sorry about the problem. And I'll see you all next time on the next episode of Pokemon FireRed Nuzlock.